Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. Again, apologies for the lateness. I know, had to get a rock start. Just that's part of the deal. Um, I know everyone's gonna be busy tomorrow night, so I figured I would do a wrap up tonight. I'm gonna clean up the Viper while I hang out with you guys. Probably going to Tampa tomorrow night. I've got some friends up there, and they're doing some New Year's Eve stuff, so probably do something like that. Haven't figured out any plans yet, or solidified any plans, I should say. But we're ready to go, and I want to make sure the car looked halfway decent because the other night the sprinklers got it. I forgot that the car was outside, the sprinklers going off, and so the car could use a quick little wipe down. Not a big deal, but definitely needs to be done. Let's see who popped on here. Hey, Liz. Yeah, I want to do a quick year wrap up with you guys, and also help kind of remind myself of everything that's happened this year because there's been a ton of stuff, and a lot of it personal, but a lot of it also car related and related to the shop and the channel here. So I think first and foremost is thank you to everyone who's subscribed. I'm happy and surprised in the best way that you guys are enjoying what I'm doing here in the shop, what I'm doing with my friends, and all the stuff we're doing outside the shop too. You guys are really liking that, and I'm glad. That makes me feel great. That's a great way to see, to watch this channel has grown over the year. And again, I'm not getting paid for any of this. I'm not doing any, boosting or advertising or anything like that. So this is all natural, and you guys are a huge part of that. So thank you very much. The last year's been really, really great. So let me grab some cleaning stuff. I'm trying to remember, it's been 12 months, so I've probably forgotten. Oh, this is heavy with no leverage. I've probably forgotten some stuff, and hopefully you guys can remind me. What we got? Oh yeah, we're using this stuff because we're saving. Really nice jazz. Okay. I figured you guys could help me remember stuff. If I missed something and you guys remember it, definitely put it in the comments or put it in the chat here tonight, and I'll try to re-list it or whatever. So I guess start in January with the MR6 and getting it ready for pit race. That was a big one for us in April, and we had kind of a limited amount of time. We had some drivers that we really wanted to drive with us, and we were very hopeful, but we ended up with a really, really, really great team, and we also had a incident on track. We had contact with another car, and that's okay. That's part of racing. I know Craig felt terrible about it, but if Craig was a crappier driver, the car probably would have ended up in much worse condition than it was. The team actually jumped right on it. Everyone was there. No one was sitting on their ass. Everyone was there helping out and trying to get the car back on track, which we did. That was really amazing. Probably one of the biggest things was Chris's engine mounts for the MR6. I'll never be able to thank Chris enough for those. Chris and Joey and another guy, they did these amazing engine mounts for our V6 swapped Toyota MR2. And they're just absolutely incredible. The force of the hit at 50 miles an hour, those mounts held absolutely solid. And I mean, those are great. If those mounts had been more jacked up, we would have bigger problems. By the way, we only use Jaxwash stuff here. If you see me using anything else, it's because I'm trying to get rid of it. I have a couple of things that are just like spare bottles that I'm, trying to get rid of. The old stuff, I should say. So if you see that around here, that is just because I'm trying to get rid of it. And the one thing I won't be doing tonight are the wheels. I got to do those outside. The power washer set up, so we'll do those tomorrow. Yeah, the race in Pittsburgh was great. It's really nice to have a kick-ass team like that where everybody jumps in no matter how bad it is, and there's tons of ideas thrown around. There's, solutions to problems that are had. And that's always very cool. See the sprinkler here comes off a well. There was originally a well pump drilled there, and so the water is very hard. So it leaves very hard water spots on the car. They are difficult to get off. We might have to do 2 passes. But Jaxwash stuff seems to work pretty well. Just needs some elbow grease. So we had this great car built. Booger here. Bug booger. And raced in a pit race. Let's see, we had Casey and Brenda Paw. And Dakota was getting married, so he wasn't with us. And Craig Reed, who got into this whole lemons thing, he was one of our other drivers, which was great. Craig's a very experienced driver, very, very good driver. Trust with any of my cars. And we had a lot of fun. That was a really good weekend, despite the impact and everything else we got. Oh, Gabe misses the RG Egypt. Gabe, I've got a bunch of those videos. All that stuff is going to go up. All the guitar stuff. I shot a ton of video of all the guitars. It just needs to be edited and graphics put on. And maybe a little spring smidge of Bob Oakman in there. Wouldn't that be nice? So I'll get those videos up. Because the guitars really do need to get sold. With all the stuff moving down here to Florida, I have neglected a lot of the guitar stuff. I thought I'd be able to cover it all, but there's only 24 hours in a day. And the difference between cleaning the Miata and cleaning the Viper is about 4 feet. Holy crap, this car is wide, especially up front. It has a very big track up front. Let's see. We did a few trips down here looking at houses and looking at different places to live where I would want to buy a house, where I don't want to buy a house, where I can afford to buy a house, and then some place with land, either a place with land or a place with that has a shop already built. And it took a while. It took me months actually. But I found this place and I have that spare lot next door, so I'm just gonna build a shop. And that way I can get it exactly how I want it. I don't have to modify it. Once it's built, it'll already be pretty much ready to go. So yeah, I did a lot of trips. I think I did 4 or 5 trips down here. Looked all over the place, everywhere from Naples, Bonita Springs, here Port Charlotte, Sarasota, Bradenton, Tampa, all over. So I think I scored okay. My neighbors think I got a great deal, and they think they're just happy to have someone in the house again. So let's see what else through the summer. Yeah, we had Mopar Nats weekend, which was in August. And because of the incident at pit race, we did not go to NCM. We were really hopeful for NCM and or Gingerman, but because of the accident at pit race, we did not do those. My buddy Joe helped me out a ton by helping getting the frame straightened out and doing a whole bunch of the body work. On a Saturday, he came into his shop and kind of opened the shop to us and helped get the car pretty straight. It is not perfect, but it is 95% better than it was. And let's see, what else? Yeah, Mopar Nats was in August. That was a lot of fun. There were a bunch of really, really amazing cars there. Mopar Nats is usually a really good time. A lot of the Viper guys came down. Liz came down and took a whole just ton of pictures. Let's see, what else? There's something else this summer. I don't remember what it was. There's something else. See, what else do we do? We got the MR6. I did a few trips down here. The first trip I did down, I did with the U-Haul and the Miata on a trailer, and drove headfirst into Hurricane Helene. And then I'm here for 4 days, and then Hurricane Milton hits, and I'm a hurricane rookie. I had no clue what to expect. Watching the water like slowly come up the driveway. My neighbor, who said he's going to stay and ride out the storm, he takes off in his truck. There goes my safety net. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I go up on the roof if it gets really bad. But yeah, that was pretty hardcore. Riding out that hurricane was pretty intense. Sometimes you get wind at your place, 20, 30 miles an hour. Imagine that wind being 80 to 100 miles an hour, but for 7 or 8 hours straight. Like, it doesn't stop. Wind, there's a little bit of rain, not that much rain, but there was a lot of, so you watch the wind outside and you see the palm trees in the back. Then you come out here to the front in the garage, you open up the garage door and water slowly creeping up the driveway, like 2 inches every hour. You're like, oh shit, this is gonna get bad. Where did my Rockstar go? Yeah, that was pretty intense. And then a few weeks later, I did the next trip, and that was with the Blue Truck and the Viper on U-Haul trailer. And that one was okay, but again, it just poured rain the entire trip. From Columbus all the way to Tampa, it just poured. And on all 3 trips, there was incredible rain and or a hurricane. All 3 of the driving trips from Ohio to Florida. So, we got other notes in here. Yeah, Gabe, I'd love to have you come out and help build. That'd be great. Gabe has the same OCD and affectation for tolerances that I do. So that would be great, man. I would love that. And also, you and the family are welcome here anytime. You guys know how the plane works. You know you're welcome here. I currently only have one guitar here. So we have to do a lot of back and forth, but knowing you, I think you're okay with that. Oh God. The sprinkler absolutely nailed this. We got it all all the sides. You would think the sprinkler was on top of this. Wow. Yeah, no joke. Everything. All right. Well, at least we can make the car look nice. Let's see. So we had Pump Our Nats in August. Nothing else really major in August. My birthday was in September, and then my first trip down here was in September. And like I said, during Helene. So that was fun. It was actually kind of cool to do all that. And this is just on a personal level. I know there were hundreds of people that said there's no way he's going to do that. There's no way he's going to leave Ohio. There's no way he's going to move. And then they saw the picture of the U-Haul on social media with the Miata behind it. And they were like, holy shit, he's actually going to move. And they're like, all right, well, he probably just staged that picture and it's for, it's photoshopped or whatever, did it as a tease. And then they saw the picture of the U-Haul and the Miata here at the house, the front. And they were like, okay. I guess he really did go. Yep. He really did. I know that surprised a lot of people. I know that disappointed a lot of people, but tough, man. This is what I got to do. Yeah, thanks. Band is opening for Jelly Roll. I don't know who Jelly Roll is, but that's cool. Is that like Green Jelly? I know the band Green Jelly. At least I remember them. Not very many people will remember the band. I don't think a lot of people will remember the band. You can remember that band and their one top 40 song without using the Google machine. I'll give you $1. But yeah, you probably can't. That's one of those weird ones. So August was done. August was one of our Nats. Nothing else major. Then moved down here. Got to go to Sarasota Cars and Coffee, which was a lot of fun. I haven't hit the Naples events yet because I've been, my trips going back and forth to Ohio have interfered with that. And they've been timed out so perfectly that I've missed a whole bunch of the events in Naples, which I really, really want to do. And Scott really wants me to do, and Lance wants me to do, so I will eventually get over to those. Just haven't yet. This is tight back here by the garage door. And it's dark. Definitely need more lights in here. The new shop will have awesome lights. And when I'm outside tomorrow doing the wheels, I will get the bottom side on the back. Can't really see down there right now. So that's September. And in October, I would say October, November, we started to do more prep for the Daytona race, or the Road Atlanta race. And trying to find drivers. Well, not trying to find, just finding out who wanted to drive. I had a nice big list of drivers. And there were only 2 downsides to driver's list. Number 1 was Katie found out she was pregnant again. So Katie's not racing at Road Atlanta. She even checked with her OBGYN and they said no. So she did try. And she just had her birthday a couple days ago, so you guys say happy birthday to Katie. She did try, so I cannot fault her for just sitting on her ass and not doing anything. That looks pretty good. So the glass. And then I really wanted my friend Chris to drive with us. Yes, the same Chris who did the engine mounts. And Chris really did want to drive with us. Chris is a great friend, and he is a hell of a driver. That guy can wheel a car, man. He was in Formula Drift for a couple seasons. He was also working with Jeff Donati in Formula Drift. So now it's funny that, you know, the master becomes the apprentice when Jeffson leaves Formula Drift and goes to road racing, and now Chris is coaching Jeff. It's actually pretty cool. I thought that was a lot of fun. So I really wanted Chris to drive this, but after everything, getting all the other aspects of his life totally set up and in order and ready to go, work sucks. And work is killing him. They're trying to get him to do 100-hour weeks. And so just when you think you've got everything sorted out, work pops up and rears its ugly head. Yeah, that was a bummer because I know Chris loves Road Atlanta. He's been to the track, the Linear Raceway, which is across the street, which is where they hold all the drift events and stuff. So I know he's dying to go to Road Atlanta. And the good news is Chris is still on the list. He doesn't get booted or anything because he didn't go with us or because, you know, work sucked up all his time. It's not how it works in my book. You know, Katie's still on the list just because she's doing the whole family thing doesn't mean I'm booting her off the list. Everybody gets the same, you know, same chances. And all of those people have deserved those chances. Katie's worked on the car, Chris has worked on the car. Go to Brian, the other Brian, Casey, all these guys. They don't just arrive and drive, they've actually done stuff on the car, so. There's no actual free ride. Yeah, actually, Katie's done a ton of work on the car. She built a few of the axles. She helped with wiring. She helped with a bunch of the coolant lines and plumbing. So, yeah. Definitely need some glass cleaning around here. It's a little bit cleaner, but need something that does glass. There's so many chips on this windshield. Done a ton of driving with this car, so that's kind of to be expected, but a lot of it's from the track. Tracking this car for 2 years, you get a lot of chips. Guys are hauling ass and they pick up a little tiny rock off the track and it just comes right back at you. So, car looks remotely clean. I think that stuff's inside. Get all the lower stuff when we get outside. But it looks a lot better. So, oops. My big flipper feet catching everything. So I walk around. These vents are a little weird to clean. Better. Or it looks much better. I think it does. I don't know if you guys can see any difference there. But it looks a lot better here. So where does that put us? That puts us at Road Atlanta, which was also just a ton of fun. That was in December. I brought, I brought the new truck down and hauled down the trailer to Road Atlanta. We dropped it off for a couple of days there. One of Dakota's friends was kind enough to let us park it in his business parking lot, which is great. And then I came back here, met those guys at Road Atlanta a couple of days later, like 5 days later, and raced all weekend. Blew up three CV joints, two CV joints. But we had an absolute great time. And then those guys hauled the car back to Ohio, and I came back here with the truck. How many miles on the Viper? 56,000. 56,608. So I drive the shit out of the car. It is not a garage queen. Yeah, Viper cleans up okay. It doesn't take much. Raced at Road Atlanta. What else? And that was just recently. That was just in the last 2 weeks. Dakota's parents were so awesome. They gave us the vineyard for the weekend. A couple of the Viper guys came down, or I should say came up because they came from Florida. And we had Dakota's family was awesome. He had, 15 people there. It was great. So we had our own fan club. It was cool. They were all over the track all weekend. Uncle came down and cooked breakfast for everybody on Sunday, like eggs and sausage and bacon and all this stuff. It was sweet. We missed Brixie, Brixie's an awesome cook, so we had to settle for Dakota's uncle, which was great. That was a ton of fun. A bunch of the Viper people showed up, which was really nice. And let's see, we got people. The thing that's fun for me is when people get more interested in either racing or getting into car stuff, either the mechanical side or the driving side. When they are, hey, thanks for the thumbs up, you guys. When they are with us at whatever event we're doing, whether we're Mopar Nats and just showing off the car, or we're at the track and we're hammering the Miata or hammering the MR6, and they come up and they're like, hey, can you tell me about how you did this swap in the MR6? Or can you tell me how your wheels match your stripes on your Viper? When they're interested in that, that gives you that, it's a really great sense of accomplishment because they want knowledge from you so that they can go do cool car stuff. Or they come up to you and they're like, hey, I want to get out on track. What's the best way to do that? And I've heard it a whole bunch of times, so I do my best to give sound advice and get these people steered, excuse the pun, in the right direction. And it usually works. People get very excited about it, and they do. They heed your advice, or at least part of it, and they go out and do that. You want to go out and have a great time. Get a helmet, get a Miata, and sign up with NASA or SCCA or Porsche Club of America or BMW CCA, and go learn to drive on track. It's very simple. Aside from the Miata and the helmet, it's about $500, $400 for a weekend at the track, and then the Miata and the helmet is up to you. But you're going to have fun. You'll absolutely have fun if that's something you want to do. If you want to go to the drag strip, that's a different ballpark. But find a car that you like to drive, preferably automatics, just because they shift so fast. And really all you have to do is time everything. With drag racing, it's a lot about timing. And you go on the last yellow, you stay foot down until there's the end of the track or a problem, and that's how you do it. You don't necessarily have to have. I watch guys drag race lawnmowers, like riding mowers. They're having a blast doing it. So you can have you can have a Miata, you can have a Chevy Lumina, whatever it is. As long as you get to the track and go do it, who cares if people are laughing at you or you get a 23-second quarter mile? Who gives a shit? You're out there doing it. Where are they? They're in the stands watching you eating a corn dog. Corn dogs, Jackie, corn dogs for all these people. Get that reference? I'm impressed. So don't worry about, kind of what other people think. As long as you're out there doing it, you're having fun. And that's, it's what you want to do. It's the same thing with, motocross racing or rally or whatever. If you're out there doing it, you're already one step ahead of the haters. You will always be one step ahead of the naysayers, one level up on all those other people. So they can bitch and moan and cry and mock you and do all this shit, but guess what? You're a level above. Automatic every time. Every time you're going to be one level above. And take the high road, right? So hearing from those people and helping them out, hey, what's the best helmet for me? Do I need driving gloves? Do I do a 2-layer suit or a 3-layer suit? How come the 3-layer suit is $4,000? Okay. Because it's actually thinner than this t-shirt and it's lightweight and it breathes and, you can wear a cool suit under it. And anyway, there's a whole bunch of reasons why it's $4,000. So there's all of that stuff. And that's, when people come to you and ask those questions, I always love that. That makes me feel really good. Downsides from this year. The incident at pit race with the car getting dinged is kind of a downside, but again, we were back out on track as quick as we could be. I saw a lot of car shows either getting canceled or turned off, and I don't want to really look at that as a down, because most of the stuff is fake as hell, and well, I try to make it positive because the positive is you, the general public and the online viewer, you guys are getting a lot smarter, and that that's fake. That that's not real, that it was edited to make it look like something else. You guys have figured it out. You've gotten a lot smarter. So when you see, the guy walking in, like I say, with 2 buckets of rust, then there's a commercial break and the voiceover says, will they make it to SEMA in time? And then you show them, an award at SEMA, and that's the end of the episode. That's not reality. What you don't see is the 2 years. They do all that in 44 minutes. You don't see the 2 years of incredibly hard work from dozens of people. I mean, yeah, Dave Kindig's cool as hell. Kev Dog's cool as hell. But he's got 30 guys. He's got probably 5 guys in paint alone that are just awesome. That's not a dig on either of those guys. It's that's what we don't see. We barely get a little hint at, the engineering side and the wiring side and a little bit of the paint side. We don't see the hours and hours that they put into it. We don't see the hours and hours that Dave puts into the design, or that, Kev does, all the parts and, tracking all the people and getting all this stuff together in time. He does a big job too. We don't see any of that stuff. We see little tiny snippets, and people have been, taking that as reality. Is that that's how life goes? When the reality of it is, it takes much longer, and people have gotten smarter, and they're not as I want to say gullible, but that's not the right word. They're getting more realistic about everything. They're understanding that you can't put a suspension together on a 32 highboy in 3.5 minutes. I don't care if you have 10 guys on it. It doesn't happen. So we like the glamour, we like the flash, we like the sparkle. It's, that's all great, but there's a very harsh reality to it too. And a lot of that stuff doesn't work. And I think that's why, part of the reason why you guys like what I'm doing here. If I snap a bolt inside of the head, you guys get to see it. I promise you're not seeing that on any other, majorly produced show. Like, Kindig Shop, you're not going to see anybody snapping bolts. You're not going to see it on anything on Motor Trend. You're not going to see it anywhere else. That's not That's not cool. That's not fun. It's not dramatic. Actually, it is pretty damn dramatic if you've got to get to the track. You know, if you're leaving for Gingerman in 24 hours, we've had those. I had to swap heads on the old MR6 engine, and I had, what did I have? I did a complete engine rebuild and installed new heads in 40 hours. But that was me with one other person for a few hours. So there is that stuff. But you guys, you're not going to see that. You know, you're not going to see Dave like yanking an engine out of a car and you know putting in new main bearings and new head gaskets and new heads. You're not going to see Dave going down to pick and pull and yanking heads off a Lexus SUV so that you can race that weekend, or so that he can race that weekend. You're not going to see that. Nobody wants to see Dave in a junkyard. Um, Although we actually would, right? Some of us would be like, that would be so cool to see Dave Kindig, like mud all over his jeans and muddy boots, and it's pouring rain, and he's got to pull these heads because he's got to put this car together and get it to Detroit Auto Show, whatever. And that would be cool, right? But you're not going to see that. That's not flash. That's not glamour. It's not what people want. So a lot of these shows, I think they're getting canceled because people are getting smart. And the other reason I think they're getting canceled is because there are so many other options. We used to have, I mean, when I was a kid growing up, we had 13 channels of TV, and then we got cable, and then we had hundreds. We had like, I guess when we lived in Lake Tahoe, we had, I think we had like 70 channels, and we were just blown away. Oh, we got cable, and you're the envy of the whole elementary school, right? You have cable. Oh, but now you have literally hundreds and hundreds of channels. And so now you have, and that was just on cable. Now you have the internet, and you've got YouTube and Twitch and all these other platforms. You have a myriad of options. You can literally focus down on the cool stuff you like. So that's why I'm really grateful for all of you guys who are subscribing and watching, is because you guys like this. It's been filtered down, and you guys like what I'm doing here. Whether it's with the Miata or the motorcycles or the MR6 or the Ariel Atom or whatever, you guys like that, and so that's why you stick around. That's why you subscribe, and I'm grateful for all that. That's very cool, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I get comments from people all the time. Hey, thanks for doing that. I didn't know that XYZ fit into the power steering rack like that. Thanks for showing the detail. I get messages like that regularly. I've gotten them throughout the year. I got them last year. So I love that stuff when I've helped at least one person figure out an issue with whatever they're working on. That's always a good thing. What else? I also love meeting the people when you go out and people are like, "Oh, hey, you're the guy with the Viper." That happened a lot in Ohio, and it's kind of happening in the neighborhood. I've only been here a couple of months, so the car hasn't been out a ton. And my neighbor across the street, he loves it. And the other guy, he's just down the street here. His name's Sonny. He's super cool, retiree. He has a C7 Corvette, or actually, is it C7 or C8? I don't remember. It's a Corvette guy. Unfortunately, he's moving to Iowa. I don't know why he would leave here and go to Iowa, but he's got family up there, and so he's going to. I guess he's going to finish off his retirement up in Iowa. Sure, why not? And yeah, it's cool that when people recognize you, not only for your car, but also for the stuff that you're doing online. And hopefully there's more of that this coming year. Again, I talked about this in my personal stuff. I don't really pay much attention to, oh, it's a whole brand new year, it's a new start, I need to get a gym membership or anything like that. To me, it's another day in the week, and we need to keep going forward. I understand the month turned over, and okay, it's the first, but it's not a month. Take two. It is not a massive, momentous occasion for me. I know a lot of people look at it that way. It's just, for me, it's transitioning into the next year. And it's a smooth transition. It's not a, 3, 2, 1, and everything's better. It's not how it works. At least for me, it isn't. I've had years where I'm underneath the SRT10, underneath the Viper truck. I'm holding up the transmission. It's resting on my chest. And, all of a sudden I get the trans out and I'm going to replace the clutch. And I look down and it's 12:05. And I'm like, there we go. All right. So we're in the new year. So I don't really look at it that way. I'm glad people do. It's cool. It's your preference. But for me, it's moving forward and it's doing all the cool stuff that I want to do over and over and over again, or experiencing new stuff over and over and over again, traveling, more racing, more doing cool stuff with cars. So we'll keep doing it. And thanks you guys for coming in and hanging out and being here. A lot of you have been here all year, which is cool. And hopefully you're here for the next one and the one after that and the one after that. That'd be great. And I will keep you guys updated on stuff. Like I said, we're waiting on parts from Miata. Mazda doesn't open until the 6th, so I can't get any parts until then. I've got to do another trip back to Ohio. Of course, I'm doing it when there's an Arctic blast coming in, and I will only be there during the Arctic blast. And then when I leave, the blast leaves. I don't know how I timed that out, but then I'll be back down here, and we'll see where it goes from there. Definitely, it's cool. There's a ton of events. Oh, we've got 24 Hours of Daytona coming up in, I think it's at the end of January, towards the end of January. Got a cool group of friends. We've got a really kick-ass place in Daytona, and we're going to go do 24 Hours of Daytona. I haven't done that before, so this will be a new one for me. And what else do we have in January? We got to go back together. We have 24 Hours of Daytona. There's something else I forgot. There's a few other car events. I thought there was a drift event that we were going to go to. I don't remember. Anyway, we're doing a ton of traveling and doing a ton of cool car stuff. So thanks for hanging out this year. And thanks for hanging out next year. I'll send a preemptive one out. Oh, my legs asleep from standing like that. Gabe, no, this is my third Viper. Well, it's second Viper car, but third Viper powered vehicle. So I had the Viper truck as my daily for 7 years. But you remember the Viper truck? I had it in. I took it down to GemFest a couple of times, I think. God, that was one of the funniest damn things. And I'll tell you guys this because this is a really funny story. So Steve I comes to GemFest. It's our 10th anniversary, and Steve is gracious enough to come down. And he's doing a master class, and we get him a hotel room. We got it was actually the honeymoon suite, but we called it the presidential suite, so he felt better. And Steve came down, and he's super cool, very nice guy. And we were, everyone, and it was the end of the event. Steve's going to be there for an extra day because he's flying out to do some recording somewhere else. So he's going to stay in Florida and meet his wife, Pia, who's also just fantastic. Pia is going to come to Florida, and then they're going to go to wherever he was doing his recording. So instead of him going back to LA and then coming back east. So Gabe and I stopped by the suite before, we were going to head out that night. And we're like, Steve, can we get you anything, before we head out? And he's like, yeah, if you could grab me some, some groceries before you guys head out, that'd be great. So that, today and all day tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, sure. So we're going to get, snacks for the road and all that stuff too. That works out good. So he gives a list, and we go to Whole Foods because Steve's a vegetarian, not a vegan, just a vegetarian. And he has a very, very specific diet. And he's really good at it because he's been a vegetarian a very long time. So he knows exactly how much of everything to eat. So his list was very specific. And Gabe and I take my truck, which we hadn't loaded up yet. We take my Viper truck to Whole Foods, which is kind of sacrilege in like 4 different ways. And we go through and we pick up this food, and it is insanely expensive. I mean, the Steve put organic tomatoes on the list, and you go to Whole Foods, and there's like 6 different versions of organic tomatoes. Gabe and I are looking at our stuff. I'm like, aren't all of these organic? Like every single one. None of them are plastic. All of them are organic. And we're kind of giggling and laughing at all of this stuff. Then we go to check out. I mean, this little basket, and it's got, normally at a grocery store it'd be $20 of food. It was over $100. And you're like, oh my God. And that didn't even include our stuff. Gabe has another basket of our stuff. And I'm debating. I'm like, Gabe, put that shit back. We'll go get stuff at the truck stop, for $2.99. It was so expensive. It was crazy. Steve was really appreciative. We didn't say anything about it. It was so bizarre. And it's bizarre to take a Viper truck to Whole Foods. That's not, I don't think that's kosher on the left coast, on the right coast. I don't think that's kosher anywhere. We were definitely standouts going to that Whole Foods. Oh, do you remember that game? Oh yeah, Gabe's right. We had to have the employees because we're total knobs. We have no clue where anything is, and we don't know the difference between this specific avocado and that specific avocado. Steve said 2 avocados, and there's 9 avocado varieties there, so we don't know which one is the right one. So we're like, can you help us, please? Because we're not very smart, and we don't eat healthy. That was the other thing. It took way longer than if you just went to the regular grocery store, just because we were fumbling around and trying to figure stuff out. If you had a camera on us, you would have laughed your asses off. These 2 guys just absolutely dumbfounded inside of a Whole Foods. It was really funny. You still have that list? Oh God, that list would be awesome. You got to take a picture of it and send it to me. I got to remember what was on that list. I remember the tomatoes. I remember the chocolate. There's a very specific kind of chocolate that he liked. That's what I remember. I remember the tomatoes, and I remember freaking out seeing like this whole row of tomatoes, and they're all different kinds, and they're all different brands from different farms and all this. And I'm like, oh shit, they're all organic tomatoes. Thankfully, we guessed right. So when we saw those tomatoes, that's when we asked for help and looked for someone. This is also pre-Amazon owning Whole Foods. So it was actually like, it was hardcore back then. That was so funny. Okay, cool. I'd love to see that. Oh God, that would be hysterical. I probably still have the text message. I might have it saved from Steve that when he said, "Thanks a lot, you guys did a great job." I would have to look that up. That'd be pretty funny. That's believe it or not, that's 14 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, would you believe I've known Gabe for 25 years? 26 years? Yeah, I remember when Gabe was single. No wife, no kids. Yeah. Yeah. I would say I remember Bob when I've known Bob for 20 plus years, and he's exactly the same. So I can't really say there's been any change in his life. His life is basically exactly the same. Same voice, same hair, same everything. Yeah. 99. God damn, man. 25 years. And it's like, it feels like last month. That's what it feels like. That's what's so weird about all of this. Whether you're doing the car stuff, you're doing the guitar stuff, you're doing life in general. 25 years ago, I first met this guy, but it feels like it was seriously like 2 months ago. Like we were in Jamaica, New York, and I was like, "Oh, hey, my name's Kevin. Oh, hey, man, yeah, we were talking in Gemside." It's so weird. So weird. That's odd how time works and how your memory works too. That's cool. Um, so yeah, good memories, and we'll keep making good memories here. I appreciate you guys. Like I said, I can't thank you enough, especially for everyone who's hung on. I'm sure people have left and whatever, and that's fine. Good luck to them, and uh, hopefully you guys are telling friends about the channel, and we get more people interested and get more people going. But uh, like I said, I'm going to keep doing this until they tell me to stop, or tell me I dropped too many f bombs, or Hammond drops too many f bombs during the live streams. But yeah, that's the other good news. Oh, January, yeah. So we're going to Daytona, but I'll also be back in the shop in Ohio working on the MR6. That was the other thing in January that I'll be doing. When I go back there, we'll be doing sort of race prep for pit race, winterizing and race prep for pit race. So that's the other thing we're doing in January. And yeah, so thank you guys very much for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching me wipe down the Viper after all the sprinkler got on it. And I will catch you guys. Please, for the love of God, don't drink and drive tomorrow night. Don't drink and drive tonight either. Please call an Uber. Please call a friend. If I'm within 100 miles, call me. I will come pick you up. Please do not drink and drive. Man, can't stress that enough. I can't. I know, I know you think you're okay to drive home and you've only had one or two. Please call an Uber. It's $20. And if it's $100, it's still cheaper than a DUI. It's still cheaper than, God forbid, killing someone. So please, don't drink and drive. If you do drink, get a ride home. Take a cab. Take an Uber. Please. Yeah. So that's it. I will catch you guys in 2025, and we'll do more car stuff. Hopefully more Miata stuff because we get parts in. I'll check on those when I'm. No, I should get them. Actually, I might pick them up when I go back to Ohio. I might save some shipping fees and just pick them up when I'm up there. So appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. Hopefully you had a good time, and definitely don't forget to, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek, give them a kiss on the tip of their nose, hold their hand, give them a squeeze. It's important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right, thanks everyone. I will talk to you soon. Have a great night.